So, welcome dear students. Next, we'll start our next chapter, vectors. So, now a physical quantity can be divided into three types. One is scalar, second one is called vector, third one is called tensor. So, now we'll understand what is the meaning of a scalar, what is the meaning of a vector, and what is the meaning of a tensor. Now, scalar means the quantities which can be defined completely by magnitude only. Magnitude means numerical value and unit. That is called magnitude. So, if a quantity can be completely defined by magnitude, then that is called scalar. For example, mass, energy, time, pressure, these quantities are called scalar. So, scalar quantities can be added algebraically. Algebraic addition. So, the quantities which can be completely defined with magnitude only, they are called scalars. For example, mass, energy, time, pressure, these all quantities are scalars. So, the scalar quantities can be added algebraically. So, they follow the algebraic addition. Algebraic addition means addition only considering the sign. For example, charge is a scalar quantity. If I have plus 2 microcoulomb, minus 3 microcoulomb, 7 microcoulomb, the net charge will be plus 2 plus minus 3 plus 7, that is equal to 6 microcoulomb. This is called algebraic addition. So, scalar quantities follow the algebraic addition. Next, we will go for vectors. So, what is the meaning of a vector? The quantities which can be defined using magnitude and direction. So, for their definition, they must have some magnitude, that means they have numerical value and unit, as well as direction, and follow the laws of vector addition. If a quantity has direction but it doesn't follow the laws of vector addition, then it cannot be a vector. For example, the vector quantities are force, velocity, acceleration, momentum, etc. They follow vector addition, that is called geometric addition. They follow geometric addition. Last part, tensors. These quantities have magnitude, but they have different properties in different directions. If a quantity has magnitude and possesses direction, but its properties along different directions are different, then that is called tensor. For example, moment of inertia, stress, strain, and we can say refractive index in non-isotropic medium. Refractive index in non-isotropic medium. They can be called as tensors. So, physical quantity can be divided into three parts: scalars, vectors, and tensors. So, this part is out of our syllabus. So, we will focus only on scalars and vectors in this chapter. Next, we will go for representation of a vector. So, a vector has magnitude and direction. So to represent a vector, we have to mention its magnitude as well as direction. That's why first of all we have to draw a line in the direction of vector. We have to draw a straight line in the direction of vector. This is called line of support. So first part we have to draw a straight line in the direction of vector. The straight line is called line of support. Then we have to cut a length which represents magnitude of the vector. For example, I am representing a force of 16 Newton. Let my scale is 2 Newton equal to 1 centimeter. Then I have to cut a length of 8 centimeter to represent the force of 16 Newton. Then I have to put an arrowhead in the direction of vector because the force can act in this direction or B to A. It may act from A to B or B to A. If it acts A to B, then I have to put an arrowhead here. Now I can say this vector AB represents a force of 16 Newton. Now in symbol we can represent this vector as AB vector or by any single letter, that may be capital or small. This can be represented as A vector or A vector like this or AB vector. This is how we can represent a vector. Next, we'll go for types of vector. So what are the different types? So first one is equal vector. That means they have same direction and same magnitude. Then they are called equal vectors. Here, if AB and CD are parallel, they point in the same direction and they have same length. Then they are called equal vectors. So if two vectors have equal magnitude and same direction, then they are called equal vectors. That's why a vector can be shifted parallel to itself. Now I can draw AB here and I can say if this is EF, I shift AB parallel to itself. Then I can say AB equal to EF. That's why we can shift a vector parallel to itself because they will be equal vectors. Then second part is our negative vector. Second type is our negative vector. So if two vectors have same magnitude but act in opposite directions, then they are called opposite vectors. They are called negative vectors. So I can say AB equal to minus BC. This is called negative vector. The third one is co-initial vector. Co-initial vector means if all the vectors have same starting point, then they are called co-initial vector. Here A, B, C, D, E all have the same starting point O. So they are called co-initial vector. Fourth one, coterminous vector. If the vectors have same ending point, then they are called coterminous vector. Here A, B and C terminate at the same point O. So they are called coterminous vector. Next part is coplanar vector. Now what is the meaning of coplanar vector? If the vectors lie in same plane, then they are called coplanar vector. For example, any vector I can draw in the plane of the board. All are coplanar vectors. All the vectors you can draw in your paper, all are coplanar vector because they all lie in same plane. Then they are called coplanar vectors. Next. Next one is collinear vector. If the vectors have same or parallel line of support, then they are called collinear vector. For example, if this is a line of support, then AB, CD, EF, all are collinear vectors because either they have same line of support or parallel line of support. Then they are called collinear vectors. So, collinear vectors are divided into two types. One is called parallel or like vectors. Second one is called anti-parallel or unlike vectors. If two collinear vectors are in same direction, their magnitude may be different, but if direction is same, then they are called parallel or like vectors. If two vectors are in opposite direction, they are called anti-parallel or unlike vectors. So, the angle between two parallel or like vectors is 0 degree. The angle between two unlike or anti-parallel vectors is 180 degree. Next, remember one thing, all the equal vectors are parallel vectors, but all parallel vectors are not equal vectors. Like that, all negative vectors are anti-parallel vectors, but all anti-parallel vectors are not negative vectors. Next one is Q vectors. If the vectors are neither parallel, anti-parallel, then they are called Q vectors. ये only possible है if the vectors are non-coplanar. ये एक वेक्टर है और दूसरा वेक्टर ऐसे है. ना ये दो वेक्टर पैरेलल है ना एंटी पैरेलल है, ना ये इंटरसेक्ट करेंगे. ऐसे वेक्टर्स को हम कहते हैं स्क्यू वेक्टर्स. इफ टू वेक्टर्स लाई इन टू नॉन पैरेलल प्लेन्स, दे आर कॉल्ड स्क्यू वेक्टर्स. सो नेक्स्ट इज पोलर एंड एक्सियल वेक्टर्स. Polar vector and axial vectors. So the vectors which have a definite starting point or point of application, they are called polar vectors. For example, force, displacement, velocity, these are the polar vectors. They have definite starting point or point of application. But all the rotational vectors means angular displacement, angular velocity, angular acceleration, angular momentum, moment of a force, that is called torque. These quantities are the rotational vectors, the vectors producing rotational effects. They are always represented along the axis of rotation given by right hand thumb rule. These vectors are always perpendicular to the plane of rotation. So these are called axial vectors. For example, a particle is rotating like this. If it is rotating in anti-clockwise manner, then according to right hand thumb rule, the all rotational vectors are along this direction, outward direction. If the quantities are, if a particle is rotating clockwise, then according to right hand thumb rule, all the rotational vectors are along the axis in inward direction. So these vectors are called axial vectors. But polar vectors, they have a definite starting point or point of application. Rotational vectors, they have no point of application. They are always along the axis of rotation. Their direction is given by right hand thumb rule. That means if the rotation is anti-clockwise, they are outward, and if the rotation is clockwise, they are inward. And the axis is always perpendicular to the plane of rotation, so they are called axial vectors. Next we'll go for zero vector or null vector. Next one is zero vector or null vector. It is represented as like this, zero vector. It has no magnitude or zero magnitude. Magnitude is zero and direction is arbitrary. That means we don't know the direction. We can assume any direction. So it has zero magnitude and arbitrary direction. This is called zero vector. It has some properties like a plus 0, it is always equal to a. Any vector added to zero vector gives the vector itself. Like that. A vector plus negative vector of a, that is equal to zero vector. 0 into any vector, that is equal to zero vector. So if zero vector is added to or subtracted from a vector, then the vector remains unchanged. If a vector is added with its negative vector, the resultant is zero vector or null vector. 0 into any vector, that is equal to zero vector. Then we'll understand what is unit vector. So let A is a vector, then the unit vector in the direction of A, it is called A cap. So A cap has the same direction as that of A, but every unit vector has magnitude 1. Every unit vector has magnitude 1. And any unit vector, it has no units, because A cap equal to vector A by magnitude of vector A. If vector A represents force, then magnitude of vector A also represents force. So unit of force divided by force, it is unitless. So every unit vector is unitless. Now we can say any vector A equal to magnitude of that vector into unit vector along that direction. So these are the properties of unit vector. Now first we understand what is scalar, vector, tensor. In the next part we observe different types of vector and representation of vector. Next we will go for angle between two vectors. Now, how to find angle between two vectors? The angle between two vectors can be obtained by making them either co-initial or coterminous. Without making the vectors co-initial or coterminous, you cannot find the angle between the vectors. Now, if these are two vectors A and B, this angle is theta. Now these two vectors are co-initial vectors, so angle between the vector is theta. Now let this is A, this is B. Now in this case also, these two vectors are coterminous vectors. So theta is the angle between the vectors. But now consider, if this is A, this is B, this is the angle theta, but let it is 150 degree, then what is the angle between these two vectors? Now these two vectors are neither co-initial neither coterminous. So by shifting A parallel to itself and making A and B co-initial, the angle is 30 degree. So in this case, the angle between A and B is 30 degree. So when we have to find the angle between two vectors, either make them co-initial or make them coterminous. Now if I make them coterminous, so I shift B parallel to A. Now this will be B. Now this angle is also 30 degree. So you can observe by making them co-initial as well as coterminous. Then you can find the angle between two vectors. Now we'll go for multiplication of a vector with a scalar. Now if we multiply a vector with a scalar, either its direction remains unchanged or direction is opposite depending upon sign of the scalar. Now consider A is a vector. It is given. Now I have to find a vector MA. Now there are two possibilities, M is positive or M is negative. If M is positive, then in both cases the magnitude of A becomes mod of M times. But if M is positive, direction remains same. If M is negative, direction is reversed. For example, A is given. If I have to find 2A, now I have to make the length double. As 2 is positive, the direction remains same. If I have to find minus 3, the magnitude becomes 3 times. But as it is negative, the direction is reversed. So this will become minus 3A. So when you are multiplying a vector with a scalar, let I am multiplying a vector A with a scalar M, then the magnitude of the vector becomes mod of M times. So make this length multiplied with mod of M times. Now if the scalar M is positive, then the direction is unchanged. If M is negative, the direction is reversed. Now from the beginning, what we study in this class? Types of physical quantity. What are the types? They are scalar, vector, tensor. Scalar means the quantities which can be completely defined only with using magnitude. They are called scalars. Scalars can be added algebraically. Next part is vectors. Vectors which are defined using magnitude as well as direction and obey the laws of vector addition. The laws of vector addition we'll study in the next class. Next part is tensor. The physical quantity which have magnitude, direction and different properties along different directions. They are called tensors. Next we have studied the types of vectors. What are the types? Equal vectors, negative vectors, co-initial vector, coterminous vector, collinear vector, parallel and anti-parallel vector, skew vector. Skew vector means the vectors are neither parallel nor intersecting. It is only possible if they are in different planes. Next, polar vector and axial vector. Polar vector means they have a definite starting point. Axial vector, they are the rotational vectors and always represented in the direction of along the axis of rotation. Next, we have studied the angle between two vectors. The angle between two vectors is the smaller angle when they are represented either as co-initial vector or co-terminus vector. The last part is multiplication of a vector with a scalar. Now, if the scalar is positive, direction remains unchanged. If the scalar is negative, the direction is reversed. Now, there are some quantities. Consider a quantity pressure. Pressure has a direction, but its direction is definite. Means pressure is always perpendicular to the surface. You cannot change the direction. You can change the direction of force. Now I am applying force on this surface. I can change the direction of force. But the pressure is always perpendicular to this surface. The direction of pressure is definite. That's why pressure is a scalar. We cannot treat it as a vector. Like that. This is a resistance. Now current in this resistance can flow A to B or B to A. So current has also a definite direction. But remember KCL. Now here you put 2 ampere, 3 ampere, 2 ampere, 1 ampere. Now what is the net current? You calculate when 5. Now you find the resultant according to KCL, in which you have to add the currents algebraically, not depending upon these angles. You are not considering the law of vector addition. That's why current is a scalar quantity, because it doesn't depend upon or it doesn't follow the laws of vector addition. It is added algebraically. But current has a direction. It may be from A to B or B to A. Still then it is a scalar because it doesn't follow the laws of vector addition. So, अगर किसी क्वांटिटी को वेक्टर कहना है, सिर्फ मैग्नीट्यूड और डायरेक्शन होना सफिशिएंट नहीं है. It must follow the laws of vector addition. Then it will be a vector. So, thank you students. We'll terminate our class here. In the description, I will give you the PDF and questions and our link to our Telegram address. Thank you.